Hi, it's Rhonda Church Finfrock of Fruitful Life Studio. Today I have a pair of pants that I am going to be painting a sunflower. So I have started these pants, I've upcycled them, put in a flare, put a ruffle on the bottom. They started out as capris and I loved how they fit, so I just extended them to make them pants because I don't wear capris. You see here I've started part of the sunflower today for you so that we can finish this and you can see the entire project. Here's another project from that workshop. This is a pieced sunflower with different fabrics. I've flared out the sleeves on this one. I'm going to do all sorts of things with that. A video's coming for that. This is probably my favorite one. And Facebook now, I think, cannot flip the visuals. So, oh, and I forgot to put my glove on. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I think you're reading this backwards, but oh, thanks for the hearts. This was actually a mistake. The all you need was an add-on because I was trying to center this O, but I did it as a reverse applique from the inside, and I didn't think about it. I thought I was going right to the offside of the center of the peace sign, but really I did the wrong side, so the whole word was off-centered. I'm like, what do? Do you rip it out? No, you just add something else. So an upcoming workshop, which will be called Birds and Blossoms. Again, I've painted on denim. There will be all kinds of projects with that workshop as well. I have not posted that one yet. Let's get out these Pentart Batik paints and paint a sunflower. So this is partway done, and I'm going to flip it over and start from the very beginning of how I would paint a pocket sunflower. So I'm going to pick this pocket because I love the detail. I love the slant. I think I'm going to do something with this little pocket, maybe put a fabric over it. You can also, these were capris, like I said before. You can get some really good deals at my local thrift store. I think capris are like $2. I look for 100% cotton when I do my upcycling and refashioning, just because if I'm doing any kind of stenciling or painting, or even the adhesives will really work better with 100% cotton, or very close. Okay, these are the Batik paints. They are made for Batik. They're by Pentart, and they're really hard to find. I happen to get them from one of the people I retail from, Stencil Girl. Nope, not Stencil Girl, Decoupage Queen. Sorry about that. From Renee at Decoupage Queen, and I just bought the rest of the stock that she had. I don't think she's going to carry them anymore, but I've got a few more sets to sell. I sell them as the set because it's just, you know, a logistic nightmare. I'm a one-person show to sell them individually. Okay, I'm going to be mixing up some colors too, and I'm going to need to refer back to this side just a little bit to see how I did this and what I did. I mixed, first of all, I mixed a lighter shade of brown, and that's where I started. Then I used the full-on orange, and then the regular shade of brown, and then I think I brightened up the green too. So there's a little ball in these paints. If it gets like clogged up, you can always just use, I get like a hat pin or a sewing pin, and I keep it in my little box of paints, and I just poke the hole if it gets a little clogged sometimes. Now, this is what my paint tray usually looks like, but I'm going to use this one so you can see a little bit more of the blending or mixing that I do. So this is the full-on yellow. This I'm going to mix with some brown. This one can mix with some green. I can do this one at a time as well. So I've got the brown, and I want to tone it down a little bit. So I'm just going to mix it in with some yellow. You can also, this medium, they describe it as lightening up your paints. It does add that clear to your paint, so it does lighten it somewhat. If you added water, that would lighten it up, but it would be, the water would make it very fluid, very flowing. I also have a pressing cloth here in case I need to press this one, but I also have a cloth that I use. I keep a cloth by me all the time when I'm painting just to dab up extra things, but this also becomes this really cool piece of dyed or painted cloth that I can turn into something else later. Okay, I think I want a little more yellow in that. I also never waste the paint. So if I'm done with the painting session, let's say I'm done with this pants, I'll just pull another piece of fabric and just paint some flowers because I do a lot of collage art as well. I also have this little piece that's a similar color so that I can test out my mixing and see if I'm happy with it. I've got a rounded brush. This one's a number 8. I love these paint trays because look how that little ridge, I can just roll that bristle and make it rounded. So I'm just going to do the center of my flower. And let's say you're like not sure of the dimension or the shape. So I just think about, I want some petals to show off this, show out this way and coming down like this. So I don't want to take the whole pocket to do the center. You could even, kind of play around with it with a tracer if you want. And if I did this kind of thing, I usually don't, but if you were like thinking, I need to trace it, I would just, with my paintbrush, because this is all about layers. So I'm just going to get that basic circle in there. I'm going to get some orange, very bright. I'm going to tone it down a little bit with some of the brown. So I'm just dotting it in there. Okay, just to make it more of a fall color. And again, twirling that end. Okay, I'm just going to put in the beginning of my center. You can see these are really fluid, but the denim is so absorbent that it doesn't just spread wild all over the place like you would think. Like if you were doing a really thin piece of cloth, you could see it would spread much easier and faster. So you just kind of have to play around with what you're doing. And again, this is what I have, like if I'm mixing colors and I want to see, is this similar to what I did over here? Okay, so that's how I'm going to get started. Now I'm going to start building in my petals. This is going to go super fast, and you can see I don't worry too much about the shape of my petals, but I start from the center and move out and then come back in, or you can go both sides from the center, however you like to do it. I just kind of wrap it around and off the side. Now I've got that first layer. I can come back and just lay in a little more paint. And this is my first layer. I can always heat set and add another layer, another layer. I can just keep on going with the layers. Okay, now I'm going to add a second row of petals. So I'm just going to come in between each of those. Now in my workshop, I'm going to call it birds Blossom, Birds, and Butterflies. I think that's what I'm going to call it. I have several, there is a PDF with several pages of florals that are sketched out, and then I demonstrate each one how I just freehand do it. This workshop comes with a PDF with a large sunflower with the peace sign that fits in there, another peace sign, and then all kinds of little petals that you can piece together, along with supply lists and pictures of the projects that go with the videos. Okay, I've got my little water cup. I've got my little shop cloth that I cleaned my brush with. Now let's go back with some orange and fill in just some petal details here. Now you can add a leaf out this way if you would like. Maybe I'll do that. I didn't do it on the front, but maybe I'll do it on this. Okay, I'm gonna let that set. Now let's say you didn't want to let it set, you wanted to get it done and keep moving along. You can always, I've got this little heat tool, this, let me see, I hope it reaches. It's like a mini iron. I usually just use my big iron, but because I was on a live and I didn't want to take off the tape, I'm getting this right where the sunflower is. I wouldn't want to heat the tape up, because then it could put some adhesive on my pants. Hi Peggy, yes, you're coming to my workshop. We're gonna be, that's, I think it's Friday night. I've got in SoCal, California, which is near Santa Cruz. I cannot wait to escape this valley heat. We've been in, oh, it's been, I don't even want to know, like 114 here. And it's dry heat. And also I don't want to heat my plastic too much, but that's enough to get me going. Peggy, we're gonna be painting all kinds of blossoms on denim. I'll give you a sample piece. We're gonna work with a sample cloth too, so that, you know, we can practice. You could do the same thing on a t-shirt. Okay, now I want to make a bright green. So I have my bright green and my darker green. But I want to add a little of this. You can see I'm not washing in between. I want to add a little of that brown just because I'm going for some fall colors. So if I wanted a leaf, I could just come around like this and just have a little hint of a leaf. Now on my second layer, I could do, after I heat set it, then I would do the venations. Then I would come back with a darker green, I would add a darker brown to that and come back in with some more detail. If I wanted to brighten it up, I could drop some yellow on one side of it so it looks dimensional, like the light's coming in on it. Okay, now I'm gonna put some green. I'm gonna lay some green in around this circle. Now I'm gonna come back in. I forgot to leave some little spaces for my greenery. So usually I leave a little bit of room up in that leaf for just some little sparks of color. Now I'm going to come back in with a darker brown. So I'm going to get black and the brown. So usually when I add black to make a shade of something, Cricut makes one of those little irons too. Yes, Christy. Yes, I think I priced them out. The Cricut was, I think, a little more money, but this was the one they had in the shop, so I'm like, okay, I'll try that one. But yeah, Cricut makes a really good product. So I just have like 3 irons. So because I do workshops, so I do workshops in SoCal. But I also do them, I'm doing a big retreat in October in Texas with Kara Lockwood. Kara's Color Me Creative, and I'll put that link too to the retreat I'm doing. It's going to be all inclusive. It's like her retreats are like one of the best deals you could have in a retreat because the food is amazing. So this back petal, the back layer, I'm just going to shade with a little bit of this brown too. You can see I work very intuitively when I'm creating. I might put a little bit of green in that center too. Now again, this is just my first layer, okay? So when I come back to this, I can do all kinds of layering and detail on the leaf. I can outline this, but let's flip this over and I'm going to show you what I started because it's about the point that this is right here. And so you'll see what I mean in just a second. Let's flip this over. Okay, so here's the one I started in the front. Maybe I'll take a piece from this patchwork here. I'll pick one of these so it's a repetitive thing and stitch it inside this little pocket. Just like a painting. As you're working around a painting, I know some of you are canvas painters, as you're working around your painting, you try to revisit with a color. I do the same thing with fabric. Okay, I'm going to get this seam right here. Because I make a mess. I cannot wait after my live and after I make dinner. I'm going to finish washing out and drying the my dyed projects. I'm so excited because you never know how it's going to turn out in the end when it's all rinsed and dried. Okay, so you see what I've done, the progress that I had on the back. Now I'm going to take this solid bright, oh no, I turned it green, so let's wash that brush a little better. And look at beautiful shades of green I already have in there. I am going to take just the plain yellow, but I'm also going to accent kind of like a, oh, that one is an ice tray. Oh, I can't do it there because it's flowing. It has that little ridge that it flows. That's the overload side, so can't do it there. Okay, I'm just going to put a little, oh, I can just use this for that second one. I'll just bring it over. Okay, so I'm going to start with this bright yellow, and I am going over, you can see I'm going over all of it. And it's saturating because this is pretty translucent paint, and that's why I love it. I can layer, 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 and it just builds such depth and brightens up those colors. Now I toned it down a little bit with one of the more golden yellows. And then I did my famous splattering, which I love the dimension on that. It just gives it a lot more depth. And it camouflages my messes. It is the main reason I do it. See how it brightened up that green, the yellow. Again, these paints are permanent. Once you heat set them, I am going to be using, and I never wash something right away. I always wait a couple days just to give it. I throw it, first of all, in the dryer on high heat, taking off all the tapes and everything. High heat in the dryer till it gets super hot. I have an old school dryer that you tell it how long you want it. It doesn't like censor it, so I can get it really hot. Then I take a steam iron to it because it's already has that dry heat. But then I do it steam iron because it just gets super hot for me. My steam iron is really hot. Okay, I'm also going to lay in some yellow here. Now this has been heat set, so if I wanted to take some of that away, I could always like just spray a tiny bit and dab some off. And again, I'm going to have fabric here, so I'm not worried about that. Oops, I forgot to move. Uh-oh. See, this is what I'm talking about. That was already there, but I forgot to move my my cloth over here and my plastic. Okay. Let's get some more over here. So if you're doing this on a larger piece and you have several sunflowers or a bouquet, I mean, you can just do them all at once. Okay, now let's see, I want to go back, I want to do a little ironing. And again, if I were not on a live, I would just walk away and go do one of my chores or do another project and let it dry or hang it out in this 114-degree heat. Yes, Tracy, so every single layer, whether I'm using these paints or I used to always use acrylics with Textile Medium mixed in, but they have a much heavier feel. They make your clothing stiffer. You can see this is just, that's plastic in there, but there's just, I mean, it just feels really nice. I just love the translucent layers, but you can, yeah, heat set in between each layer. That way the colors aren't mixing together or bleeding, because these are, you know, just like, it's a water soluble paint, so that's what I do. Then, you know, it cuts down on the mud. Now see my quilting, these are my free motion quilting. I got them full of paint, but I think they're washable. Okay. Now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dark. So I have all my layers. Now I want to add some darker outlining. So with this one, I did go back with the darker, but not everything. Like I just kind of highlighted it here and there, because like a painting, you know, you want to show some light and you want to show some dark. So not everything, and that's just my style. Not everything needs to be outlined or perfect. And I'm going to go do some little marks so the center looks more natural. Okay, now this one has that fun peace sign that I pieced together. Okay, now I'm going to pick a dark. Now you could go with a dark brown and do outlining, more outlining, but what I chose is I wanted to bring back in the blue, because I have a lot of tones and shades of denim on these pants, so I wanted to tie that in with my flowers. And so you could use acrylics mixed with Textile Medium. You could use acrylics mixed with, I've been using this medium that comes with the Batik set. They say it's to lighten up, but it's also to help, you know, your paint flow into your fabric. So I've been using this with acrylics, but you can also use regular Textile Medium. There's all kinds of brands, Folk Art. My favorite is GAC 900, but I think it's also golden. Oh, that's what I didn't get. Whoopsie. I needed to get a ornamental plate. That was my last item. I never want to keep this open, but I don't want to go get my plate, so I'm going to seal it off with this plastic right for now. And I'm just going to use the lid. How's that sound? Okay, I'm going to water this down. So when I put the lid back on, I'm definitely going to wipe that up. Again, I've been using the same brush the whole time. I think this is just a number 8 round brush. And I just want to, this is screen printing ink. Again, you could use acrylic with Textile Medium. But I like the color. I've used this a lot with stenciling and stamping on denim. I just like the color. So I'm going to use that. And you can see here, I just did really loose painterly, and then I kind of dry brushed it in there, and I didn't do every bit of it. I don't think, maybe I did, but some of it got a little more extreme than other parts of it. You can see I'm just kind of dry brushing this. If you like it more exact, you know, you can go in with detail and outline. But what this does for me, it just gives it even more depth. And then I'm just gonna kind of spray that. Now I should have heat set, I think. Oh, I did the dark. So if it bleeds together with the dark I just did, it's fine. But usually I would heat set it again before I did this last layer. I'm gonna let that bleed a little bit. Again, just kind of wash it around. Just kind of give it some fun depth. And this, I think I'm going to have like a navy fun, either a denim or a patterned little print in there. Tracy, I think you're the one that inspired at our retreat in Texas. I think you're the one that got all the ladies painting their pants. I think you're the one. It's been fun seeing all their creations. So October, I'll be in Texas. We will be doing fabric paintings with these Batik paints, with acrylics, with screen printing inks. We will be screen printing. We will be with stencils. We will be using the gel plates. We will be using acid wash and decolorant and resists and all kinds of things on fabrics that you can do with clothing, with decor, with art. You can even use it for mixed media art. So I hope you check it out. The tickets are selling fast. I think there's a few more left, and it's like the best deal in town because Kara puts on a great feast for us every day, and wine and friendship and fun. So I know some of you are joining me there. I can't wait. Okay, now I'm in my splatter mode. So I usually start out with, and again, this is heat set, but it's still going to absorb into it. It's just not going to mix or blend as much. So now I'm just going to take some fun bits from, oh, I forgot the white. Got to do the white. One more thing before I do the splatter. So I added the dark, but now I kind of want to add a little bit of light to whatever I do. So I've just got plain acrylic paint, and again, I forgot my plate, so I'm just going to drop it in here. I'm going to use this medium that comes with the set. You can use regular Textile Medium if you want. Now, just like the blue kind of dry wash, I'm going to dry wash, meaning, you know, just kind of brush on some white highlights. So I think about where might white hit on this piece, and sometimes it might be the ends of it, and I don't overthink it. And again, because this is heat set, and I don't usually do it to that back layer just because, you know, it's in the background and these leaves are in the foreground. Okay, so that should be enough. I'll do just a little bit of white in here, and if it starts to look, oh, that's too much white, you can always dab it off. Okay, Okay, I've got the white, the light, now the fun splatters. I had to get in my, get down on my knees the other day and clean my studio floor because I got splatters everywhere. I usually take this outside and do it. I have a table with just an old tablecloth on a fold-up table outside, and that's where I do my dyeing and my screen printing and all those fun things that are just a huge mess. Okay, I need 2 brushes. So one's gonna be for splatter and one's gonna be my little, you know, tapper. So let's start with the fun. I want to get it watery. This screen printing ink is pretty thick, so I just want to, you know, splatter that on. Just kind of random fun. I can even come down in here a little bit, and that will tie it in with the other side of my pants. So let's take this off. Yay, I love when I see it. So the splatter part we can just have fun with. And again, it kind of camouflages all of my little places that I mess up. And you can do this or not. Like, this is, you know, just what I like. Ooh, this might be kind of fun too, to just splatter a little bit of this down here, because this kind of looks like an island, these letters. So maybe it'll tie in my letters a little bit more that I appliqued. The PDF also has the letters that you can just trace out, and then of course the videos will show you how I do all of it. But even if you're not a sewist, there's all kinds of ways you could use the PDF on decor. You could paint handbags, you could paint totes, all kinds of things. Now let's go with some of this beautiful rusty orange. I want to get it into the petals. Now let's go some with this beautiful fall green. Again, that may or may not be your thing. What else did I splatter? I think that might be it. I want to thank you for joining me today, ladies. And again, I'll be posting this on YouTube with a list of all the supplies that I've used. I want to thank you for joining me. I love you. Until next time. Have fun. I hope you spend some time creating and stay cool. I'm trying to. Bye-bye.